Voyageur. And I was to see you, what would I say? Okay, I didn't want to start the week this morning before opening ceremonies and say it, and then everyone would be like, oh, what's that about again? I wanted to make sure you knew what it was. And we're going to do one more all together. And then the rest of the week, on the morning announcements, that's I'll say hello. Instead of saying bonjour, I'll say what? Good, okay? And if you see a teacher, you can say hey ho, whatever you want, all right? But that is how the Voyageurs used to greet each other. Does anyone remember who the Voyageurs are? No? Oh, who are the Voyageurs? Yes, they were people, they were French, okay? So they're Europeans that came to and settled in Canada in a place called New France. And they were French speakers who were a super important part of the fur trade in Canada. And they traveled by canoe, taking goods back and forth down all the river systems in Canada. Okay? Well, on the East Coast to start with. So they traveled for, does anyone remember? How many hours a day about? 200. A day. A day. Do you remember how many hours a day about did they travel? More, I hear lots of 12, but it's like closer to 16. Okay? Yes, they will travel all day long. Okay? So today, at our school for Festival de Voyageur, we celebrate this week because they do in Winnipeg. So Festival de Voyageur is like a celebration of Canada's past, of the beginning of French in our country, as well as the Métis people. Okay? So every year, Winnipeg has a festival to celebrate this. Also, because it's a long winter and it's nice to have a celebration. Okay? So, in Winnipeg, every year there's a celebration, and every year they have a new logo. So if you look on the wall over there, those are some of the past logos. Every year there's a new logo, and it's often done by an artist, and often they have a video to explain. But this year, for some reason, they don't have the meaning of the logo or which artist did it. If I find it, I can send it to your teachers. So that's this year's logo. So throughout the week, there'll be one or two classes that are going to make a big poster like that of this logo. Okay? Do you like this year's logo? Do you see the canoe at the bottom and the red? Yeah. All right. So you see, this is supposed to be a video that we're not going to play because it's not there. All right. So this is just to show you that that's why you see for Festival, you see lots of people wearing sashes because it is a celebration of Métis heritage as well as French Canadian. Now, does everyone remember why the Voyageurs wore sashes? Was it just for looks because they were pretty? No? Do you remember why? Give me one reason.
Because they need to put it on their shoulder because if they're putting the canoe on their shoulder.
Yes, those canoes are really heavy, aren't they? So if the Voyageur needed to, does anyone remember the word? What's that called when they take the canoe out of the water and they have to walk on land to the next spot they can get in the river? Does anyone remember that word? What's that called? Yeah, that's a portage. So they take this heavy canoe, and there's people in the front, people in the back. Your teachers are going to get a video. You can watch that video. There's like a 1-minute clip like this of them walking. So is that hard on your back? Yes, that's really hard on your back. So the sash was used to support your back. Was it only canoes that they were carrying? What else were they carrying? Yeah. What? The bagage. And remember, they were right? So they had bundles and bundles of goods, also weighing like 90 pounds. Okay? So when they had to, anytime they got to a river or into a spot that they couldn't go any further, there might have been, there could be a waterfall or something, they had to portage. Empty the canoe, everyone had to carry things. Someone had to, well, 4 voyageurs carried the canoe, and they walked on land until they got back into the river. So that Saint-Sulpice was back support for all of them. Does anyone remember any other uses? You remember another use, Zach? Here, okay.
They get injured, they can put it on like a bandage, like to like support the wound.
Because it was dangerous work, being a voyageur. Lots of times, like I said, they'd be in like rapids, they could fall in a canoe, they could fall while they were carrying heavy things. And you know when you hurt yourself, it could be like a support for like a joint or something. Yeah, does anyone else remember another use for the Saint-Sulpice? Alex, can you yell it? Yeah, as a belt as well. As a belt as well. Anyone else? There's one more that I was thinking about, like that's at the end. Remember? There's these strings at the end. Could they be useful? You have an idea? Yes, easier to carry stuff. Supporting my back. Remember the little strings at the end could be used to like sew repairs and clothes and such as well. Another one? Or was that yours? Yeah, and to tie stuff up. Perfect. Okay. So often when you see Festival at Festival Voyageur, you see lots of Saint-Sulpice everywhere. So this is our week. Okay? I'm just going to explain to you what we're going to do this week. All right. Lindsay, that's today. We have our opening ceremonies. And we have Mr. Pronto here to be with us today and all week. Okay, now lots of you might remember Mr. Pronto. He's been here a few times. But in case you forget who he is or you didn't know, I'm going to read him some of his impressive resume. In 1981, he was the Manitoba digging champion. In 1989, he was the Canadian champion, like best in Canada, best jigger in Canada. Yeah. And so in 1991, the government gave recognition to him to go on tour to Manitoba schools to teach jigging. So how about a great big round of applause for Mr. Ricky Blanco? And so Mr. Blanco is going to work with our gym. When you have gym class this week, well today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, you're going to be jigging with Mr. Pronto as part of the activities. We still have the canoe that you're going to practicing, like portage. The arm wrestling station will still be there. Okay? So you'll be doing different activities. One of the stations is going to be with Mr. Pronto. And you'll probably be able to go full class activity as well. All right. 60 years. In July, 60 years. Wow, that's impressive, Mr. Blanco. You want him to do a little sample for us today? Red River? There, that was like an idea there that you should just drink for us. All right, Red River Gin. All right, also this week, you can do some crafts. There's 5 different. The K to grade 2s have the mini ticks. Remember the little mini ticks? And then the grade 8s have Métis beadwork to do. Grade 5s and 6s are going to try to weave their own sash. The grade 7s are doing a math game that the Voyageurs used to play. And the grade 3s and 4s are doing bison masks. Okay? So that you'll do that sometime all week. Are you guys just like so excited? Okay, I love that you're excited, but now it's gonna like tomorrow morning we have pancake breakfast and sausages. Then on Wednesday, you can, if you're Pascal, if you want to wear a sash because you have one, you want to wear it all week, you go ahead. If you have a ribbon skirt because you have one, you want to wear it all week, you can go ahead. But on Wednesday specifically, we're hoping that as many of you as possible will either dress like a Voyageur, you're going to pretend to be a Voyageur, and that day is also our beard contest. Okay? So the beards, Dawson. The beards are made at home, okay? And there's 3 categories. The one that looks like the real thing, okay? One that is the longest, and one that's the most creative. So you can wear that if you want to while you're dressed like a Voyageur. You can also wear anything, like if you are Métis, for example, and you have a ribbon skirt, or if you just have a ribbon skirt you want to wear, or you have a ribbon shirt, you can also do that. Because we're recognizing both Métis heritage as well as French. Okay? So you can wear whatever you want on the Wednesday. And then we have the beard competition. Where are you making the beards? At home. Awesome. Okay. Thursday is activity day. Now, we're trying something new this year. We're trying the little guys, okay, grade 1 to 4, you guys are going to start your day with the activities all over the school, in and out, okay? I know. So dress more, sometimes it's a little bit chillier in the morning, but that's okay. Because then, in the afternoon, you're going to come inside and do your workshops. So grade 5 to 8, you're starting your morning with workshops in the school, and then in the afternoon, you do your activities. And then on Friday, we're going to have our closing ceremonies. And do you guys remember how Winterfest works? You have points, right? At every station, we have a first, second, third. They get points. The next morning, Friday morning, we're going to have tallied up all the points, and we're going to have the top 2 students with the most points from grade 1 to 4, and the top 2 from grade 5 to 8 will be presented with their own sash. And then, after our closing ceremonies, that morning we will also be doing our awards assembly for courage. Okay? And then the rest of the day, we'll be going out in groups for hot dogs. Okay? And maple taffy. Does everyone remember what that's seal, maple taffy? Do you guys remember what that is? Does anyone know why that's part of Festival? Does anyone know? Take a look out for a second. Why is that seal part of Festival? Just because it tastes good? No? Brock, you got an answer? For real? Okay, Brock's going to tell us. Where's your thought, Brock? Okay, are you ready? Look, Brock's over here. Okay.
When the Voyageurs would stop, they would put like taps in trees and make the maple taffy and snow.
Who would have taught them how to do that? Who do you think taught? Who would have taught the Voyageurs how to even think to like put a hole in a tree and get some liquid out of it and then boil it and it would turn into taffy? Who would have shown them? Okay? Who would have taught them? Do you know who? No, not themselves. Who was here before them?
The indigenous people.
That's right. The indigenous people were here. Awesome. It was the indigenous people, like Indians. They were on our land, right? They're the ones that showed the Voyageurs first how to do that. Okay? All right. So, but now, where do most of our maple trees this is maple taffy, right? Where do most of our maple trees in Canada grow? You know this? Ontario and? Where do they speak French? Quebec, okay? So, Ontario and Quebec. That's where most of our maple trees, so they have a lot of maple taffy. Oh, shh. Yeah, go like this to her. There you go. Okay. They have a lot of maple trees in Quebec, where they speak predominantly French, and Ontario, where there's a lot of French. That's why it's seen as a French cultural thing. Okay? That's why it's at Festival. All right, so that's our week. How's that sound? Good. Okay, and by the end of the week, we're hoping that all the classes have something up on their bulletin board to reflect some learning that they've done in their classes about Festival. Okay? So remember we used to do the big gallery walk? Yeah, we're not doing that this year. It's kind of like it's all on our bulletin boards. Okay? And these are just some pictures of kind of years gone by, right? There's Mr. Pronto, there's people dressed up, there's our Okay, so now who can remember another really important, like when you're thinking of like a celebration, what is there normally? Can you think of something normally? Do we just like do it quietly normally? No. What's in the background? Music. And at our school, what do we do a lot of to music? With Madame Davis and Mr. Patel? Singing. Okay, singing is often a big part of many celebrations. So we're going to start off, or we're going to end our opening ceremonies with a great big song all together. It's the one with the words, okay? So that you can read along. This is probably one of the best things that came out of COVID, okay? Because these are like Voyageur families who all got together and made a song for us to follow along with. It's English and French. All right, are you ready? Are you guys ready to sing? Yeah! All right.
Monster Math presents multiplication.